I know Karine unfortunately worked for the most incompetent president in history, so I guess she has a reason to be bitter, but being bitter will not sell you books, Jesse.
Is Peter Doocy one of those good reporters? Are you sure?
Look, Peter's a good guy. We have our tussles with Peter, too. No mistakes there. And it's a stark contrast to what they had over the past 4 years, where they were gaslit, where they were told Joe Biden was mentally stable and up for the job. That was a lie. Where they were told the administration was doing everything it could to secure the border. Also a lie. I'm very proud to work for the...
The feud between Karoline Leavitt and former White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre has escalated even further after Jean-Pierre took offense to a joke Leavitt made about former President Obama. Refusing to back down, Leavitt fired back with a sharp and unapologetic response, transforming what began as a light jab into a full-scale verbal showdown. The exchange has only added more fuel to their already heated rivalry, pushing tensions between the two to new heights.
Find work is the same person who had your job about a year ago. We call her Binder. KJP, Karine Jean-Pierre. You, I guess, had made a joke about, it was like your mama joke, and she didn't like that. This is what she said. Roll it.
It's deplorable. And I'm using that word on purpose. Yeah. Because they don't seem to understand, this is the Trump White House, that they don't work for just one man. Yeah. They work for the American people. The White House press secretary is not about doing online trolling. Right. It is not. It is an honor and a privilege to have that.
Karine Jean-Pierre attempted to twist the situation in her favor, condemning Karoline Leavitt's lighthearted remark as deplorable and dismissing her as nothing more than an internet troll. She accused Leavitt of failing to conduct herself like a true White House press secretary, claiming she was wasting time on petty insults and online theatrics. But that's when everything changed. Karoline didn't take the criticism quietly. She fired back with a fierce and unapologetic response that turned the tables entirely. Her sharp and confident comeback not only dismantled Jean-Pierre's narrative, but also reignited their ongoing feud. And once you hear her response, it's clear this battle is far from cooling down.
Called you deplorable, and you say?
Well, with all due respect to my predecessor, she is one of the main culprits of the greatest cover-up and scandal in American history. She took the podium every day and lied to the press about the incompetence of her boss. And on this book tour, she continues to lie. She said this past week that Joe Biden would still be up for the job if he had, God forbid, been reelected in November. She actually said this week as well on a podcast that Joe Biden did more press engagements than President Trump currently does now. Any person across the aisle can tell you that is a bald-faced lie.
Karine Jean-Pierre attempted to twist the situation in her favor, condemning Karoline Leavitt's lighthearted remark as deplorable and dismissing her as nothing more than an internet troll. She accused Leavitt of failing to conduct herself like a true White House press secretary, claiming Karoline went on the offensive, launching a no-holds-barred attack on Karine Jean-Pierre. She accused KJP of being deeply involved in what she described as the biggest cover-up in U.S. history, an alleged effort to hide President Biden's declining mental state during the final phase of his presidency. Now that Biden's struggles have become public knowledge, Karoline argued, Jean-Pierre continues to cling to a false narrative, pretending that everything was perfectly fine all along. Despite mounting evidence to the contrary, KJP still insists that Biden was sharp and fully in control, a defense that's growing weaker by the day. Speculation over whether Biden personally approved his final round of pardons has only intensified the doubt. For Karoline, the message was clear and cutting. Jean-Pierre isn't defending the truth, she's defending a facade. And according to Karoline, Americans are finally beginning to see through it. But even then, she wasn't done. She was wasting time on petty insults and online theatrics.
We'll just add, when you talk to the real journalists, not the ones who are actually activists that pose as journalists, but the people who actually care about truth, and there are some of those left in the White House press corps. I work with them every day. They will tell you the Trump White House is the most accessible and transparent White House ever. Not only does the president take questions from the press on a near daily basis multiple times per day, as he did today, but we also provide truthful and accurate information about what this administration is doing and accomplishing.
Karoline didn't flinch at Karine Jean-Pierre's jab. Instead, she turned it into fuel. After being labeled an online troll, Karoline fired back by drawing a bold contrast between their tenures. She asserted that the White House under her watch operates with far greater transparency and openness than it ever did when KJP stood at the podium. According to Karoline, accountability and accessibility have returned to the briefing room, with reporters once again able to ask real questions and receive honest answers instead of carefully rehearsed talking points. She also credited President Trump for setting that tone, noting how he regularly faced the press and took on tough questions directly, something she claimed was almost unheard of during Biden's presidency. In her words, the difference is night and day. A press corps that's no longer shut out, a president who actually communicates, and a press secretary who doesn't hide behind excuses. It was a sharp, confident response, and it hit exactly where she aimed. She was wasting time on petty insults and online theatrics.
Information about what this administration is doing and accomplishing. And it's a stark contrast to what they had over the past 4 years, where they were gaslit, where they were told Joe Biden was mentally stable and up for the job. That was a lie. Where they were told the administration was doing everything it could to secure the border. Also a lie. I'm very proud to work for the greatest president in history. I know Karine unfortunately worked for the most incompetent president in history, so I guess she has a reason to be bitter, but being bitter will not sell you.
I remember when Joe Biden and Kamala Harris confidently declared that the southern border was secure. They said it with such conviction that many Americans wanted to believe them. But then reality hit. After more than 1 million illegal crossings, their assurances completely unraveled, revealing just how far the truth had been stretched. And that wasn't even the biggest deception of the Biden years. The Hunter Biden laptop story, once dismissed, censored, and written off as Russian disinformation, turned out to be real after all. So when Karoline Leavitt calls out Karine Jean-Pierre and the administration for misleading the American people, she's not exaggerating. She's demanding accountability after years of cover-ups, denial, and political spin. Someone needed to say it, and she did. She was wasting time on petty insults and online theatrics.